Alright guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the hints and tips series that I've been doing on my channel. My name's AndyKapt20. If any of you haven't seen my videos before, I do basically course playthroughs and sometimes hints and tips on the Golf Club 2019. Basically just have a good laugh when I'm playing the game, don't take it too seriously. So anyway, I was going to be doing a 4-part series. This is video number 3. Video 1 was all about swing basics, and it was about trying to get a more consistent swing, and if you were doing things wrong, how to improve that and hopefully try and change it, just with quite a lot of different wee methods. Feedback I've had on that's been excellent. A lot of guys have found that really beneficial. The video number 2 was what I called natural hazards, and that was basically anything from the tee to the green which got in your way, so elevation, wind, lie angle, lie condition. And video number 3, which was this one, was going to be about approach shots into the green. And to be honest, after doing the actual video, I realised there was a lot of stuff which I'm repeating from video number 2. So in video 2, the hazards one, I actually do go over quite a lot of my thought process when I hit shots and taking a shot into the green. So to be honest, I'm not going to bore you and put out another video. It's quite self-explanatory, but if you do want to go over that, video number 2 is the one to look at. Hopefully you've watched them, because it naturally kind of leads on. And video 4 was going to be all around the green, so it was going to include flop shots, chip shots and putting. To be honest, I'm just going to do putting, and I'm going to make this the final video because there's quite a lot to cover in putting, and there's also quite a lot to cover in chipping and also flop shots. But to be honest, chipping and flop shots, I don't really think we're ever going to get anywhere close to good. There's certainly no magic thing that I can tell you that I haven't already done so. If you have watched my previous videos, I do go through quite a lot of my thought process when I'm taking shots. So if you have a look at some of my videos, have a look at bunker shots, and I'll be honest, I'm not that great. So there's quite a lot of bunker shots, certainly a lot of greenside chipping shots, and I do have a chipping video which tries to explain the physics around chipping. So yeah, we'll do putting today. As I say, there's a couple of things I do want to go over anyway. And hopefully we can get that sorted. So we'll take it from there, and we'll see if we can get anywhere, and hopefully get his putting a wee bit better. So I have noticed a massive difference in my putting. This hence the reason I was doing these videos. There's been something's clicked. I've definitely noticed that my playing became a lot more consistent. I've been trying out thousands of techniques and different things, and I've try to kind of make a montage of the best ones which I found to get up to where I currently am now. And I'm still learning, I'm still not great. I've not been playing the game that long, but I feel I'm okay. So the putting side of things is where you're going to lower your score the most, right? If you can think about a par 4, the likelihood is 80% of the time, 90% of the time, you're going to get on that green after 2 shots. So you're going to be putting for your 3rd shot. There's going to be the odd occasion that you might be able to drive the green. But then, as again I've spoke about in previous videos, leaving yourself with a 60 or 70 foot putt sometimes isn't as good as being able to flop shot, right? You need to be very, very good at taking a 70 foot putt up to the right next to the hole and give yourself a good opportunity for birdie. So sometimes you're better either chipping on or taking a flop shot on. So weigh up the risk and reward. So if you're on a par 5, again, there is chances on some holes that you can get on there in 2, but again, the likelihood is you're going to be on there for 3 and you're going to be putting for birdie. So if you really want to lower your score, which is exactly what we all want to do, the best way to do that is sink more putts, and the best thing you can do is get within a 10-foot radius. And that's why I was talking about my hazards video. To calculate the elevation, the wind, your lie angle, all of that has to be done exactly, because if it isn't, you're not going to guarantee that you're going to be as close as you possibly can. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at short putts, and then I'm going to look at medium putts. I'm going to very, very briefly cover long putts. Long putts, to be honest, are it's just a hit and hope. There's not really much that you can work out. The reason being is the green grid doesn't go all the way up to your feet. I think it's about 30 or 40 feet and then it stops. So if you're playing a 50 or 60 foot putt, there's going to be quite a bit of that putt that's going to be missed out from the green grid. So you do need to kind of guess. But as long as you can get within that 10-foot radius, you're going to be alright. And the majority of players out there can do that. It's actually quite hard to get long putts wrong. You've got a lot more to work with, and there's a lot more speed involved, so there's a smaller percentage of the putt which is actually going to be affected by the break. Okay, so I feel like I've went up your rant there, but Right, so I'm just going to move this. I'm currently on the practice facility, which is the on the home screen. If you go up to where it shows you with the driving range, chipping range and putting green, that's where we are. So this is just the default one it's opened up as. This isn't enough break for me, so I'm just going to move it. I've done that by hitting the O button, and I'm just going to zoom in, right? A couple of options here. If you're chipping, when you're doing the chipping one, you can do the same. You've got heavy rough, light rough, then you've got the green fringe, which is absolutely great. You've also got bunkers you can do flop shots from, and then if needs be, you can bring it over and play on your fairway, which is, this is your full normal driving range that we're so used to, okay? So I am going to use this pin down here, and to change your pin, you're going to use the L1 and L2 buttons just to zoom around. Only pain in the arse thing is it doesn't change the green grid automatically. It'll change it if you play it. If you say that you want to play from here and then go back into this shot, it will show you the green grid, and then you can kind of work it around. But for the purpose of this, if I've remembered it correctly, about here should be ideal. We've got a wee bit of left to right slope. I've already been in and had a look. Let me just check. Yeah, right. So I've got a 13 foot. So this is an ideal opportunity for a birdie, right? So we're going to go through a couple of processes and what I look for when I'm putting, right? This is you might think a relatively straightforward putt, but it is missable, and it's missable where it's one of these awkward ones that you could end up going kind of 4 or 5 foot past the hole, and then you've got another missable par shot. So yeah, we'll take it for there. So we'll jump in and have a wee look at my putting process, and I'm going to talk about other ones but not really show you them, just so you guys are aware of. Alright, so as I said, we've got 13 foot to the hole. We've got a slight left to right break on this. The good thing is about this is the 3 lines which you can see in front of us are all breaking at different speeds, which is great. We're going to talk about that. There's going to be a process I'm just going to briefly discuss the now. A lot of this stuff when I started playing the game was by North47. His videos were invaluable to me. I found these videos really great for me to get into the game and start playing a wee bit more consistently. One of the difficult things is a lot of times players will give you what they think is the best thing to do, and it doesn't quite suit you. So a lot of the information that was given to me was great as a general rule of thumb, but when it came down to things like putting, and there was a couple of techniques he showed me, I tried them, and yeah, they worked okay. I just found them, the bad points outweighed the good points for me personally, but I'm going to link the video down below that I'm talking about. I think if off the top of my head, it's called something like giving the green grid lines a number. It's no one that rolls off your tongue easy, but that's what it's called. It was, I think, September 2019 maybe, or 2018 video was put out. The link will be in the description anyway. And what it is it is a video that he's done based on another player of the game that done this kind of green reading method, right? And what the green reading method is you give the lines that are at the bottom of your screen that you're going horizontally a number. So I'm going to move this line. Really, no, this line doesn't really affect the ball, but just to show you, I'm moving this line up to the bottom of my screen, so you can see it's just behind the putter. The line on the right side of my screen is basically at the bottom of my screen, and the left side is raised slightly. So if we move up to the next line, which is one that will affect the ball, you can see that there's a gap at the left side, right? If I can just get this right. So there's a gap at the left side, and you need to give this line a number depending on how many times you can fit that green line into there. So I would maybe give that a 2, maybe a 3. So you move up to the next line, and again with this one you give it maybe a bit of 3 again, and this line maybe a bit of 2. That's maybe a bit of 3 again, right? So you're maybe looking at 9, right? You would give this a 9, and the direction you go in is the direction of the break, and you use your D-pad. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? And that's what North said. It was Hippenstein, it just came to me there. Hippenstein was the guy that originally done this method and done a video on it, and North relayed it over. I've not actually watched Hippenstein's video, if it was a video we done, but I've not watched it, so I'm only going on North's information here. So this was very good. I'm just going to quickly try this to see if it works. Great, right? So that's breaking quite nice. So that's a great method. My only concern with that method is that it's time consuming, right? It can take up quite a bit of time to actually get your shot worked out. If I can just find where I was again. There we go. It can take quite a bit of time to actually work out your shot, especially if you've got quite a lengthy putt. But also, when you hit the D-pad doesn't necessarily give everybody the same approach, and I'm just going to show you why. I need to try and get 3 lines here. Let's see if we've got that. Okay, perfect. Right, so if I hit my D-pad 1, right, that's a tap, but sometimes when I hit my D-pad, I'll get that, right? So let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's 5 notches to the left. But let's see if we can get it even finer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It's not the same, or you can get long ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's going to hit them differently, and that's when there's a wee bit of confusion. So if you're maybe playing a 30 or 40 foot putt, you've got to work out all those individual lines. You've got to make sure that you're doing, say it's 60 off to the right, you've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work it out, right? It's a bit time consuming, but also one of the negative things I found with it is that it doesn't let you see the putt as a whole. So you're not able to look at this hole and go, right, roughly I think that putt's going to go about here, right? If I played that shot, I'm comfortable because it feels right. There's no feel involved with it. You're literally just looking at it as factual numbers. So obviously the benefits are, if you're able to work it out correctly and you're okay spending that time, great. The chances are your putt's going to go in the relative direction, but it also doesn't include your the strength that you've got to hit your shot. That's another different ball game. So that's one method. Have a look at the video, see if it works for you. Certainly for short putts, I would say anything below kind of 20 foot is quite a good method, and it's also what I found really good for small breaks like this, where you are only working with maybe 9 or 10 notches. When you start getting up to kind of 30 and 40, 5 or 6 notches wrong could mean that you're completely missing the shot. But on here, you've probably got, that's probably going to miss it right, and that's going to miss it left, but anywhere in this space is going to get you in the cup. Whereas if you're playing, a way back here, that gap, becomes completely different. So just bear that in mind, but the video will be down below anyway. Okay, so we're back to this putt. And what I'm going to show you now is the method I use. It's not really a method, it's just explaining the process I go through. I've called it a stream method, right? And it's because we're not going to treat these lines as wee dots moving in the screen. We're going to treat it as running water, right? And you might seem as if I've been on crack all day, but bear with me. So when I look at my putt, I look at the whole process of the putt, the whole 3 lines that we've got in front of us, and I've purposely chose 3 lines for which I'll discuss in a wee second. But the 3 lines we've got in front of us, I look at all those lines and I think, right, what is the rough speed that's going at? It's very difficult to try and work out the speeds of those lines because they are literally just wee dots going over the screen, and in between those dots you don't have a clue what's going on. But if you can visualize, this is something I do, if you can visualize either a blanket or a sheet going over them, so if treat it like a sheet of water if you want, and that water's moving from left to right and the speed that those lines are, right? Some will move faster than others, and you'll be able to see that the middles maybe get a bit of a faster current than the beginning and the end. There's all different ways to actually think about it, but if you can try and visualize that full putt as a whole, you can then start to visualize your ball moving, coming off your club, going all the way around from left to right, and then landing in the cup at the speed that the ball would normally go at. So if you've played the game for a certain period of time, you'll know roughly how long it's going to take to get in that hole. It's maybe about 1 second or 2 seconds. That's going to be pretty much the same. You don't want it to go any faster because it can go over the hole. You don't want to go any slower because it might not reach there. So roughly about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds is going to be the rough time that ball's going to take. So imagine hitting your ball right now without moving any lines, and try and imagine where your ball's going to land up. Hopefully you've figured out it's going to land roughly about here. Okay, so that's letting you see that what you're doing is looking at your first line, right? It's going to affect it with that. There's my second line, it's going to affect it even more because that's faster. Then my third line, that's going to affect it even more, and it pulls it away to roughly round about here, right? So I'm not going to play that and embarrass myself as to that it's not actually going to land there, but roughly I would say that it would go about here if I played that shot. So that's step 1 visualize the putt, visualize where the miss is going to be, and technically all you need to do is just move that gap up to where it is, right? So if we think it's going to miss roughly about here, you want to move that gap up to about here, and you should probably play that putt, right? That's fine, that's one way to do it. But then start moving where you think it should be, right? So if you think that your ball should go about there, and then it's going to break in by visualizing, then that's fine. For me personally, I think that's too much. I just think it needs to be just a wee bit in. And I mean, you're talking sometimes centimetres worth of movement, but that's all you need. If you look at my videos, you'll see sometimes I'll go, nah, I'm not happy, there. And it's literally wee notches I'm making, because it can be the difference from the side of the cup missing to the side of the cup grabbing the hole, and in you go. So work at it, have a look, and try and visualise those lines. The other thing that I do is go down in worm cam, right? And I'm not counting lines here, I'm not doing anything. What I'm doing is I split this hole up into 3 parts, right? So I'm going to go in between the middle, right? This is line 1, right? That's line 2, and that's line 3, and obviously the hole. So every putt that I take is going to have a beginning, so first section, second middle section, and third end section. And let's, for instance, say all of these lines were all going the same pace, right? Let's say they were all going the same speed. Then technically they should all have the same value, but they're going to have different effects on the ball. Line 1 is where there's going to be the most pace from your club. The most amount of speed is when it affects line 1. So the amount of break that you have on that isn't going to be as much. You're maybe probably only going to have about that much break, okay, for a solid steady line. Line 2 is when you're going to have the majority of your breaks going to be covered by line 2, but even with the same speed as line 1, you're probably going to be moving up to about here. And then line 3 is going to be where the most break is going to happen, because you've got the reduced amount of speed. So how many times have you played your putt, it goes up to the hole, and then all of a sudden you see it when it's starting to really come down to a stop, it takes a 90 degrees turn and then completely turns either away from the hole or turns into the hole and drops in. And that is because the least amount of effect of kind of trajectory is on the ball, and you're going to have the most amount of effect on the green. So each section is going to have a different speed value on the ball, even though they might all be breaking the same. So look at them like 3 sections. Come down and look at section 1 and go, right, that's about a slow to a medium. Section 2 is about a medium. And section 3 is back to a slow to medium. Come back, have a look at it and go, right, line 1 would take me roughly about here. If I move up to line 2, we're going to be roughly about here. But then I want to bring it back just a wee bit, because I don't think it's going to be as much as that. And then I'm happy with a positioning about that. Okay? And then again, look at the lines as a whole. Imagine the ball coming off the club and going, that's not enough. I'm just going to move it about here. And there's 4 or 5 different things I'm checking there. You might think this sounds absolutely crazy, but genuine, this is what I go through with putting. I'm visualising the full thing, but I'm splitting it up into 3 sections. It's just convenient that there's 3 lines in between us, but we'll do a medium putt in a minute where there's going to be kind of 9 or 10 lines in between us, and I'll show you how I split up each section, even with that. Okay, so we're going to try and just do all of that in a normal process, a normal putt. Bearing in mind, I've seen a video from someone who talks about this pointer. See the pointer I'm moving up and down, right? The video he done showed that the pointer, as far as I was concerned, the pointer made no difference in how far your ball went. Apparently it does, right? And I'm just going to show you. He showed, I think it was a 5-foot putt, and he used the same distance, the same amount of time back, right? So I think it is, right, we'll try and keep the same consistent line, right? So there and back, right? So 1 and 2, it should go about 4 foot, which that one did. I'm going to move it up to 6 foot. And use the same swing line, which was 1 back, 1 back. It's a bit dodgy, eh? That was weird. Aye, it was strange when I saw that video. I thought, nah, that can't be right. But there seems to be some merit in it, okay? There's a reason why I'm telling you that. Let me make sure I've got my 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, play about here. There's a reason why I'm telling you that, because you need to make sure that your line is in the correct space. So have a look at the middle of the screen. We've got 9 foot. That's it. From your ball to that hole is 9 foot, but it's up about kind of 1 foot. So it's roughly playing about 11 foot, and that tells you where the wee flag is. Always go by that marker. If you move this marker about, remember and hit, take it to your driver and back to your putter. It'll reset the distance. It won't reset the angle though. It will only reset the distance, which is quite good. Bit of a pain in the bum sometimes if you overwork it out. Okay, so remember, if you do go either too far or you're working it out or you're moving your lines, before you hit your putt, make sure you're referencing that line. And we're going to play to 11. We're not playing to 9. We're playing to 11. Right, that's the important thing. Okay, so I've landed my ball in the green, and I'm going to play this shot. This is going to be the shot which is hopefully going to be for birdie. So I'm going to quickly, just in my head, look at these shots, go down into my worm cam, back up into this camera view, and then make my small adjustments and play my shot, right? So this is my ball landing the green, and this is me playing it. Just before we start, make sure you've got auto mulligans on. I've got to do that, right? Make sure you've got auto mulligans, because if you miss a shot and it goes in, it's just going to reset the ball back to where you are. Okay, so let's do that. So my screen's loaded up, come down into my worm cam, I look at line 1, look at line 2, look at line 3, happy with that. Reset my indicator back. Visualising the ball coming off the club, going round. And again, if you ever get an uncomfortable feeling, stop and take it back. Okay? And the tempo, which we'll talk about in a wee minute. Okay, so I was maybe just on the top side of that. Okay, but it still went in, right? So if I hit that ball again with a bit less tempo, it goes in the middle of the cup, right? So your tempo is obviously very, very, very important. I've not moved that marker, that's just tempo. So you can see how doing a quick visualization and visualizing that ball, as a golfer you should be doing that anyway. A natural golfer, a real golfer, will visualize their shot, even if it's a driver or iron in at the green or a putt. You're going to visualize a shot, because if it doesn't feel right, take it back to the middle and reset everything and start again until it feels comfortable. That's uncomfortable to me, but that's comfortable. Okay, so what I just showed you is another method which I'm going to discuss, and this is about, if this doesn't feel right to you, we're going to look at another method which is overcompensating and undercompensating. Okay, so we'll play that one. So the last method, or the last kind of ideas I'm going to show you before we move on to medium and potentially long putts, is another way to dial in the rough area that is going to go in the cup, the kind of perfect area, if you want to call it that. And this one's going to take a wee bit longer. It's based more on experience rather than visualization. A lot of people can't visualize a shot going in. It's probably just the type of messed up brain that I've got, that I can visualize that ball and it's physically tracking a line for me, like TrackMan or whatever it is. It's tracking a line into the hole, and I can keep that and make small adjustments. For me, visualize, I can do that. Some people can't. Hopefully this method might work for you if you're a wee bit more kind of factual. So if you look back in previous videos that I've done, I speak a lot about missing the hole below the hole or after the hole. And what that means is this slope here is sloping from left to right. So if I look at the cup, that's obviously middle of the cup. That is the left side, which is above the hole, and that's the right side, which is below the hole. Reason being is my putt line is going to come in from here round, and that's above the hole. And if I underhit it or I don't hit it with as much tempo, you're going below the hole, right? So if this was a perfectly straight shot, you just see you missed it left or right. If the break was going from right to left, so I don't know why I hit that shot there, hold on. If the break was going from left to right, so in the opposite direction, right, Now the right side of the hole is above the hole and the left side of the hole is below the hole, if that makes any sense to you, right? So my shots previously that I was doing when I was out in the course, I was missing a lot of my shots down below the hole, and that was because I didn't give it enough break, or I didn't hit it with enough tempo. A lot of the time it would roll well past it, so I knew my tempo was okay. It was my break. I didn't have the right amount of break. So about 4 or 5 videos it took me to do that, I was saying to myself, miss it above the hole, miss it above. And I was consciously trying to miss the hole above the hole, again going well past it, but I was missing the ball in this area. And what that helped me do was dial in where the perfect area is, because I can say where below is, I can say where above is, so I should be able to say where the centre of the cup is. So I'm going to show you what that means in kind of respect to shots. So roughly, we know, if I just play this, that shot should be going in, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, so that shot's okay, just with a wee bit less tempo and it'll be middle of the cup. So if I go here, I should miss with the same tempo, I should miss in the left side of the cup, which is going to be above. Okay, so that was pretty much the same tempo. And if we go back, hopefully I can do this. That was about the shot. If we go back to, say, about there, this ideally, same tempo, should miss below the hole, which it does. So I can accurately say that a shot about here should go with that same tempo, should go in the cup, which it does, because I know what the extreme above the hole is and what the extreme below, so extreme left and extreme right are. And it's very, very similar to tempo. And tempo comes down to a feel, as does this. So I know that if I hit that shot, that's too much. And I also know what an underhit shot is. So if anyone's ever kicked a football, if you're passing a football to somebody, you know that the minute that ball, or usually the minute you're swinging your foot at it, whether it's going to be a hard shot or a soft shot, that's just because you've hit the ball so many times that you know, based on the feedback from the feeling from your foot or the muscles of your leg lifting up, whatever it is, you know that you're either giving it too much or you're giving it too little. This is exactly the same. Tempo works like this as well. You've got to just get it on feeling. There's nothing really, there's guys out there that will say pull it back for X amount of seconds and forward for... Don't bother with that, because again, you're not feeling it, you're not getting it right. And one of the best things I can tell you to do is go and play True Sim, or just take the green grid off. If you go into options and take the green grid off, because what that's going to do is give you a more non-factual, feeling based performance in golf, just like real golf. And this is why guys can play much better in the game than they can out in the real world, because they've got this information like green grids, they've got the wind, they've got the elevation, they've got all these parameters, which is information given to them, and all they need to do is just kind of reverse engineer that. But in the real world, you've not got that. They are there, but you don't have that information, so you're basing it solely on feel. And I can't emphasize it enough that you've got to try and feel the shot. So I know you guys hate out there when guys say just practice. If you're going onto the putting green and you're practicing missing below the hole all the time, what you're doing, you're just forming a habit. That's all you're doing. So when you're going to the practice green the next time, or you're going and playing quite a relaxed course where it's not for competition or anything, try and miss the putts above the hole. Try and miss them on both sides. Okay, it's going to be different because you're not going to have that same putt all the time, but I'll guarantee you're going to have an 11-foot putt which is similar to this again. You're certainly going to have a break which will be similar to this, and you'll start to feel how far is too far, or how much is too much, or how much how little break is going to be too little. Okay, so we're going to move on to a medium putt, and I'm just going to go through basically everything we've learned but bigger. It's going to be a kind of longer distance. We'll see if we can get maybe about 20-25 foot and just go through everything in a brief overview, exactly what we've learned. So just to recap on this one, miss above, miss below, and dial it into the middle, and that's what to practice. And if you need to go around, and I've done it, I've played around where the putts like this, okay, tap ins, I'll tap in. Putts like this, I'll purposely say to myself, I want to miss it above the hole. I want to make sure that I'm missing this putt to the left of this kind of putt, and I'm missing above the hole on every shot. And then see when I play my next round, I know when's too much. You just get that feeling, right? So let's move to a medium-sized putt and see if we can get this dialed in. So I managed to find a relatively decent putt with a okay amount of break, and it's playing about kind of 26, 27 feet. So this is one I wouldn't expect to make, but I would expect to get it within 2 or 3 foot. Okay, so if this goes in, it's a good bonus, and if it lays up that we've got an easy enough putt, then happy days. So you're going to have to give yourself the best opportunity here. Don't overthink it, right? Even though I've probably just put so much information in your head, I'm giving you every single thing which I do, but obviously in an extended format, but also some things to think about. Pick and choose what helps for you. Try things out in the putting green and modify it slightly into your own shot, and then you're going to find that you've got a lot more to work with rather than just practicing bad habits. That's as simple as that. We're going to try and replace some bad habits. So this is how it lines up. I'm just making sure my distance is alright. So it's playing 27 foot. I'd be playing at about 27. Okay. First thing I do, go into worm cam. So if any of you don't know, worm cam's just by hitting the triangle button and just pulling down on your right stick, which is going to get you up and down, and you can move that around, come behind the hole, check it from that angle, or play it from where your player is. Alright. So you've got two methods of zooming in and out here. You can move your R1, your L2 and R2 buttons, but they only go up to a certain amount. So if your marker was here because you were playing downhill, it would only go up to there. Alright, so some people do use the left stick for the marker. Just make sure you R1, R2 reset it before you hit your shot. So we're going to split this shot into 3 sections like we've done in the last one. So the first 3 or 4 holes are your first section. This is going to be a middle section, and that's going to be your final section. So remember, the final sections where it's got the reduced amount of speed but the most amount of activity. Middle sections where you're going to have a majority of your activity happening. So there's going to be a decent amount of break, but you'll still get a decent amount of speed. And also here you're going to have the less amount of break but the most amount of speed coming from your club. So you've got to treat each line with the same amount of respect, but they're going to have different values. So these lines are all going all the way up to the hole. These lines are going roughly around the same speed, give or take 1 or 2 wee lines. So on this section here, it's moving the same speed as the middle in the last section, but it's probably not the same amount of break. So let's look at the middle one. Again, we're probably going to be out to about here. And then this section, if we're putting from here, we probably want to be out to about here. So combine all of them together. Make sure you know exactly what's happening at the beginning, what's happening at the middle, and what's happening at the end. Because sometimes what you find is a sneaky wee line or 2 lines that's going the opposite direction, and it completely cancels stuff out. Sometimes you don't even know that this last line might actually be breaking in the opposite direction. And see if you've moved out to let's say you were making this putt, you probably want to be out to a region about here. Well, see when you go up to the hole, it's actually moving back the other way, so you need to make sure you take that into account and move it back, and that's happened to me so many times. So make sure you know every single line in between your putt and treat it like sections. Alright, so that's your first step, so you know what's happening. You know that's what the worm cam's used for. The worm cam isn't going to be used for me to work anything out, it's just for me to make myself familiar with what's happening with my putt. So now I'll look at the overall top view here, right, and I'm getting a feel for the putt. Visualize the putt coming off the club and where you think it's roughly going to land. For me personally, I think it's going to land down about here based on the speed, because if you have a wee look, see these 2 lines here, that one and that one, just have a look at them. For some reason they're catching my eye. That's my focus point, and that's where I think that there's going to be the most amount of action happening in my ball. I don't know why, I'm just drawn to that area, and I think that if I putted that, it's going to end up round about there. So take that up and move it here. Make one decision and don't slowly drift up. Don't go no, because you'll just keep going. It's never going to work for you. Make one decision and plot your mark here. I think about here is okay, right? I've now got a blind, like in snooker you've got a blind pot. Use your L3 button, right, and go through these different versions to see which one that might work for you, or you might do that. I find that one great because it then opens up all the lines. The good thing is you can actually play your shot from these views. It's not like Wormcam. You can play from whatever view you're wanting on this one. It will play your shot. So we're going to move it up here and now play my shot, visualise it, and see how we get on. Okay, I think I've given it just a wee bit too much. Nope. Okay. Right. I'm happy with that. I think that is going to be roughly where I want to be. Right, I'm just going to hit that and see. As I say, I'm not expecting to make this, but we'll see what happens. Because what I've done is I've looked at the lines, I've visualised that, I've made my wee adjustments. Now I'm looking at it here, I'm thinking about here. I've just want to move it back slightly. No, I think I was right. Move it back, see how it feels, then move it back. Each time I'm imagining my ball curling round because of those lines. Right, let's play that. I think I've hit it a wee bit too hard. I'm fine, I'm happy with that. Then we should have a wee tap in. So, I'm not going to move the line, I'm just going to play it with a slightly different tempo. And just watch what happens. It was on course to go in the hole. So the combination of tempo and adjustments are so vital. You can sometimes get a ball in because you've done the break wrong. You've worked out the break wrong, but you've got the tempo spot on. But as long as it feels alright to you, then that should be alright. I think I was giving it a wee bit too much, and you can see I was hesitant before I played the shot. So I'm just moving it back to where I originally put it before I moved it back. And just play it with that tempo. I've not hit that enough. And just get the feeling for it. Right, see how we're getting closer, but again my tempo's picking up. So if I reduce the tempo in that, not move the lines, we're getting on course. So every shot that I played, okay, none of them went in, right? That was obviously that none of the balls actually went in the hole. So okay, it was a wee bit of a shame that one did, but it's a wee bit of a shame that we never had that putt hold out apart from the last one there. But are you that gutted? You're left with a tap in. You've not whacked the shot well past the hole. If this was a 10-foot putt and I never got 90% of the shots in a 10-foot putt, I would be gutted. But I'm playing a 25-foot putt here with a relatively moderate break, and I'm happy that I'm getting within 2 or 3 foot, that I can literally not even see if there was a severe break on a 2 or 3 foot putt and you can just tap it and it'll go in. I'm happy with that, and I'll stick with playing that kind of golf all the time. And there we go, you're tapping in, and as long as you're happy with the area that you're going in, then stick with it. And my method might not work for everybody, I totally get that. I totally get that by watching this video and you might think, Jesus, seems mind-boggling. Watch the video a couple of times, pick up on some things I'm talking about. But as I said, practice on this one by missing the hole above it. So you want to be in this area and miss it above it. And if I can do this right, you want to be missing it below the hole. Right, which that was technically below. So on these kind of shots, make sure that you're comfortable with what your variables are. Above the hole miss, below the hole miss, or an on-line in the hole. So get used to it, get the feel, and figure out your putts. We're going to go over long putts. I'm not going to spend too long on it. I'm just going to briefly discuss a couple of things you should be looking at, right? So we're now got a 63 foot putt. Very, very slight downhill elevation on this one, but it's going to be breaking from right to left. This is on the same line as we took the last putt, but just a wee bit further back. So as you can see, the green grid stopped. That's going to cause a bit of a problem. I think it's about 40 foot. I can't honestly remember, but I'm sure it's about 40 foot the green grid gives you. So all we can really guarantee that we know is this section of the green grid. So first of all, that's what you want to look at. There's no point in, unless you've got a fantastic eye, the worm cam isn't a great angle on the normal shots. On True Sim, it goes right down and blurs the background out. I wish they would do that for all the shots, but for this one, you're just going to give a rough estimate. And see, to be honest, it's going to be fairly similar to the first line, right? Relatively quiet. And to be honest, looking at it, I think it's relatively quiet. Right, so we're just going to treat it like that. So your first section should start about here. This is now your kind of middle section. And as I said, that's going to be the majority of your shot. And there's your end, right? So we've got quite a lot happening. Right, this is very, very similar to the last one we had. We were putting from what, about here in that last putt, so you can see we're quite a bit back. So this one is going to be important to look at the hole as a whole, if that makes any sense. Look at the whole picture and visualize the ball going as close as you can. On these kind of putts, you're wanting to get it within 10 foot. You're not wanting to get it within 2 or 3 foot that we did with the medium putts. That'd be ideal, but you're wanting to get it within 10 foot to give yourself the best opportunity. Don't play to get it in the hole, play to get it close to the hole. And if it goes in the hole, then it's an absolute winner. Just don't put yourself under pressure to try and get that. So I'm having a wee look. I'm trying all different angles here, my overview, and I'm taking in absolutely everything. Again, like my medium and short shots, I'm making sure I know what's happening on every line. Okay, and once I'm comfortable and I know, right, it's relatively the same speed, a wee bit faster towards the end of the hole, and it's quiet here, then what I can do is R1, R2, 63 foot, and pick a spot. Pick a spot first of all about here, then come back up. And again, visualise the ball coming off the club. You guys might not be able to see it because I think the resolution on these recordings are a wee bit less than what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm making very, very slight adjustments. I think it's going to be a wee bit more. Again, use your L3 button. This is with the screen. These green grids go crazy sometimes. You really can't see them. It's just a slight bit of movement. Right, okay, I'm happy with that, right? So I'm just going to play this shot, and again, get your tempo right. Before you hit your shot, R1, R2, because you've moved it, you just want to make sure you're working with the right arrow. So it's 63 foot. And again, spend a bit of time getting your footage. If I can get this within about 10 foot, I'll be happy, right? Did you see what happened with that last bit? Keep an eye on the very, very last bit of the putt. Don't think I've hit that hard enough. Right, see the ball turning in? That is because you've got the least amount of speed, but it's the same break. Right, let's watch your last bit, starting to turn in, and then it drastically turns in. That can make or break a putt. That's why I'm saying split it up into 3 sections, okay? So I think I've given it a wee bit too much. So let's try and bring it in a wee bit more. My distance is alright, I'm happy with my distance, but look where I'm ending up. You know, these are not bad putts. If this was in a game, I'd be happy with that. But you see, every time I'm missing above the hole, I'm not missing below the hole. I'm giving it as much respect as I possibly can. And that was just wild. Try to see if we can maybe make one of these. I'm forgetting they're quite slow greens. But all of these putts, apart from the one just before that one I hit there, have been within a decent amount. So you can see how much difference there is compared to what I thought it was, compared to what it potentially could be. But I think that's all down to tempo. So that's probably the rough area, just a wee bit faster. See if we can get this in. Oh, so that was a below and above hole. I don't think I'm going to get much better than that. That's down to swing line. I'll talk about swing line in a wee minute. I've kind of left it for the end. That's a good swing line, so it should be alright. Nah, okay. Right, you get the idea. Right, as I said, I wasn't claiming to make this putt, and I wasn't claiming to make the medium putt. I'm not going to go back over and edit all these videos to make sure that I get the putt in, because it's not the point in the video. The point in the video is to show you guys that putting is difficult, yes, but there's quite a lot you need to take in, and if you can start to play around with all these different elements and try new techniques, you might get somewhere. You might find that one of these wee things click. Well, for me it did. For me, something just changed and I'm started playing it and I'm happy in my putts. Well, Jesus, for the night you wouldn't think so, but I'm actually quite happy. So I've left the kind of best for last here, and I'm just going to kind of quickly recap over what we've discussed, and just give you a wee bit more kind of heads up. I play with Masters clubs, and one of the things I've said in many videos is one of the downsides to Masters clubs is it is very, very, very sensitive to swing line, right? So you can be completely different. You know, if I play a swing line like that, which is off to the right, that will go more right than anything else. And if I played it off to the left, so I mean, it's very, very slightly. Right? So that's more centred. You can see it's coming out the hole a wee bit more. When you're putting, especially when you're doing kind of 10, 11 foot putts, you need to be so accurate with your swing line. And that is why my video 1 was all about getting a more accurate swing line. I'm not saying get a straighter swing line, I'm saying get a more accurate swing line. If your swing line ends up taking your shot always to the right, play with it. Just like real golf, just aim to the left and play more to the right. If your swing line takes you to the left, play with it. So don't try and get a perfect straight swing, because a perfect straight swing will only work well if you work everything out absolutely perfectly. And let's just assume you're not going to. You're a human being, you're not going to work out these green grids, your wind, your elevation, your lie, you're not going to work all them out absolutely exact. So the chances are you're going to get more putts and more shots close to the hole because of your human inconsistencies. And I know I've certainly dropped out quite a lot of putts. There's been 1 or 2 times I've played like 10 foot putts and I've actually aimed too far to the right, but my swing line went to the left and it went in the cup, and I'm thinking, oh, thank God for that. So that would have missed if it was a straight line. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Jesus, my phone just screamed at me there. Right, so swing line is so important. You need to make sure that you're relatively consistent. You don't get any feedback for your tempo when you're putting, right? But it's not as sensitive in the way that you're going to get a fast or you're going to get a slow, but it will affect your swing line, right? I'm going to try and force this forward, right? So a wee bit of a crazy swing line compared to rather than trying to take my time on it and just playing a normal shot, right? So I still got the same kind of swing line. You can see that shape from right into the centre, but it wasn't as pronounced. So I'm going to try and get this one straight. Nope, same swing line. So that's my swing line. I work with that. Excuse me. And what that tells me is I need to aim a wee bit more to the left because my putts go out to the right. Right, that's just me personally. That's what I'm aware of. But you need to try and work on your swing line as best you can. That's where you're gonna seriously notice a difference if you can get your swing line done well. I think the video's just ended, but I'll put my screen up anyway. We can still talk. The tempo, there's not really much in the way, as I've spoke about before, that you can completely master tempo. You're not going to. Now, tempo's just on feel. I'm not going to start saying 1 second back, 1 second forward. That's not going to help you because guys are going to count differently in their head. There's too many variables with that. Just get your tempo right. Get the feeling to, as I said, like kicking a ball. You know while you're swinging if it's going to be too hard, if it's going to be too soft. Get that with your putting and see if it doesn't feel right. If you think you've gone too far, just take your finger off and let it reset and start again. and until it feels right. And it's quite a difficult one to talk about, it's the tempo, because it is, you know, it's very, very hard to try and work out for yourself. So I'm going to leave it there. As I said, it was a wee bit longer than normal, but hopefully you've watched it, and I'll put chapters on this as best as I can, just to try and kind of talk about different methods so you can jump back in if needs be. I've probably went a wee bit overkill with the information I've passed over, but I've basically went through everything that I talk about when I hit my shots. I basically talk from every possible angle that I can look at, and it might seem an awful lot, but it takes about 2 seconds to work out. Once you get it in your head that you know that you're going to do your worm cam, split it up into 3 sections, beginning, middle and end, treat each section differently but much the same. Get your angle, just make a decision on where you're going to go and stick to that. Just put your shot there, and then do your tweaks based on different angles. Go back into the worm cam, check it for different angles, visualise the ball going off the club, visualise the ball travelling the route and going in the cup. If it misses a cup, visualise, then change it and make small adjustments until you're happy and you feel confident that if you get the right tempo, that ball's going in the cup. Then you play your shot. That's it. That takes a matter of 3 seconds to do that once you're confident with it, and that's why you need to go on the practice screen. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, shut my voice up, go and take some strepsils, and see if we're back. I'm probably going to be changing videos up maybe to once a week now. It's just tons of effort getting into videos, and it's taking quite a lot of time up, so yeah, I'll maybe put a video out about that anyway. But I hope this series of videos helped. If there's anything you guys particularly want to see, whether it's kind of chipping, flop shots, if you want to see pit shots, which I hate, if you want to see any of them brought into another future video, I can do that. Even just do a direct video to you guys, or talk you through anything. Catch me on Facebook, Twitter. I'm more than happy to answer questions. I'm not claiming in any shape or form to be a master at the game, but I've went through quite a lot of test processes to find out for me what I think's the best one, and I can even go over kind of previous things that I've tested which might work for you. So yeah, well, good luck anyway, and let me know how you guys get on. If this has helped, give it a like down the bottom. And if you're not, give the channel a subscribe. There's quite a lot of yous out there which actually watch my videos that don't subscribe, so if you can just hit a subscribe button, it would mean the world to me and lets me know that you guys are watching and do like the content. As I said, if this has been helpful, give it a comment and give it a like, and let me know what you do for putting, which I can maybe incorporate in the future videos. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.